Hello student, this is a supporting video to help with assignment 1. Assignment 1 deals with vectors assignment. So first of all, our assignment has got asks us to create vectors, to create random numbers, to sort a vector, to display a vector, and kind of, take a deep dive into vectors. So here is my main program, which is called main.cpp. I have got my header file exactly the way we did it in our lab called vector.h, and all my prototypes, function prototypes are tucked away very neatly into this. Where are all these methods declared? Of course, you know this by now, having done lab 0. All of them are in the vector functions.cpp file. But the only thing we have to remember is now we have to remember to include vector.h here in the CPP file. And in the main program, there is no clutter. Our main program is very, very short, as we need it to be for software engineering purposes. All it has is to include vector.h. Please do not include vector.cpp. Your program will not work. Just include the vector.h. Now here, as you can see, I have declared a vector. This is my vector of strings, and that's why I needed this. Looks complicated, but it's a vector of strings. I've got a file here that contains some words that we're going to read from the file into the vector. So here we go. Your assignment actually is far simpler than this. And if you are able to go and if you take some time to go through this tutorial, then you will be very, very well prepared for your assignment. And also this will serve as a revision for your file processing. So I'm opening the file, right? I'm going to call this file variable data. It opens the file words.txt. And what it does is, if it's able to open the file, then till the end of the file, it reads elements from the file into a variable called element of string type, right? I've already declared an element, and push back that word. So let's see how this actually happens. Now, what's going to happen here is if I go into, I've got Apple, boy, quantum, language. So what this is going to do is pick Apple, put it into my words vector. Pick boy, put it into the vector. So ultimately, by the time this loop is done, we have got, as you can see when I've run this, Apple, boy, quantum, language, syntax, and program is into my vector called words. And this is how to do it. So we are here reading from the file into the vector. Right? Now we are display the contents of the vector, reverse the vector, display the last word of the vector, and then erase certain words from the vector, resize the vector, and every single time we do an operation, you will see that I have actually chosen to display it. So let's see what happens here. Now, what happens here is, let's run this program. What is it doing? You see, the first thing that it has done is that it has displayed all the words that we picked up from the file and put into the vector. So Apple, boy, quantum, language, syntax, and program is here. The next thing that I've done is I have reversed the vector and displayed the last word. When I reverse the vector, program is going to come first and Apple is going to come last. And therefore, the last word was Apple. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase from the vector words starting at position 2 and ending at position 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So quantum, language, and syntax should be removed, and I should be left with Apple, boy, and quantum. So, one second. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from 2 to 4, so quantum, language, and syntax are going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, all right. So 2, 3, and 4. I'm sorry. So from here, let me just highlight that. This is actually, now it's our 0, this is our 1, this is our 2, this is our 3, this is our 4, and our 5. So when we do erase from 2 to 4, so this is going to go, this is going to go, and this is going to go, and we should have program, syntax, and Apple left behind, and that's exactly what happens here. So now once we're done with that, I have chosen to resize this vector to size 10. This had 6 elements, and then I removed 3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of the vector to 10 and fill all of those empty spots with XXX. So here, this is what my vector now looks like. I've removed some words and I've added these placeholders, and I have displayed it. Now I would like to sort from the beginning of the vector to the end of the vector. And here is how I say this: from vector.begin to vector.end, sort it. I can actually sort stuff in the middle, but I've chosen to do it from the beginning to the end. When I do that, what happens is XXX lexicographically comes first, and then Apple and program and syntax are pushed back. Right? Remember, it sorts in the uppercase first, so all the X's have gone here. Then I display it. Then what I do is I randomly display an element of the vector, and I've created a random number, and that random number has picked the number 1, and the word at position 1 is XXX. I empty the vector and display it, which means now the vector has come to 0. I would like to take a few minutes to go through the functions. How do you display the vector? You can display the vector by using, as you can see, the size function, which tells you how many elements are there in the vector currently. So I is equal to 0, I less than words.size, I plus plus. How did my words come into the function? If you look at the method header, you will see that I have actually passed the vector as a parameter, and so therefore I'm able to access it inside. I've passed by value here, but it would be very wise to always pass by ref, and most of the times you will see that I've used ref parameter passing here. And so now I'm displaying the words at that position, at that particular position. There are many ways in which we can traverse the vector using a for loop, using array-like indexing access, using an iterator. An iterator is nothing but a pointer that you can set to the beginning of the vector, and you can increment it just like a regular pointer to the end. If you make a copy of this, and on your own IDE, if you experiment with this, you will see that all of these give the exact same output. How to empty the vector? Here we've got a words.empty. This function empties the vector, right? I'm sorry, words. Pop back empties the vector, but dot empty is a boolean that tells you whether the vector is empty or not. All right, and then here, how to erase from the vector? We actually have a method called erase, which takes a beginning pointer and an end pointer, and it erases everything from the beginning to the end. So I've set the pointer to the beginning of the end of the vector, and I've said, well, I would like to start at that position. So iter actually points to the beginning of the vector. Let's say it points here, and I would like to start from the 3rd position. So what I do is I add +3 here. So that's why I'm doing +3. So I now say start erasing from here. 0 + 3 is 3, and then go to all the way to the end. to finish plus 1. Let's say I have to go, I would like to delete 2, so therefore I'm going to go all the way to 5, but I'm going to add, how many am I going to add here? Iter plus finish is going to be 5, so I'm going to go up to 4 here, because the reason why I need to do finish minus 1 is you have to be careful that it actually deletes, there is a one-off adjustment that you need to make, and this way you can be sure that it only deletes 2 and not 3 elements. Reversing the vector, you can reverse the vector by just using the reverse function. Know that this one, strangely enough, doesn't have words.reverse, but it actually is just simply a reverse. And this is the method that requires you to include algorithm, which is there at the beginning.